honey, it's cool.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony, it's your favorite show. Completely.
This is Big Dan, owner and founder of Big Dan's Original Bethpage Barbecue Sauce and Seasonings, and I'm proud to present the first episode of Completely Cartoony, the only cartoon podcast you need to listen to. And that's what I call a Big Dan deal.
All right, everybody, welcome to the first episode of Completely Cartoony. You never need to listen to another cartoon podcast. It's just this one. I am Ben, and joining me today is...
Leo.
Leo, thank you for being with me, man. Thank you for being with me. It's been a hot minute since we were on that other. I mean, we won't really go into details, but this is
It's fine. We'll just go over this.
Yeah, creative differences is what that one guy used to call it. I forget his names now. It's something
like Adam.
Yeah,
John.
John, I think it might have. No. Papa John came with us. That's the thing.
Oh yeah,
Papa
John is here with us.
Yeah,
the other guy. Yeah,
the
guy that hates anime.
That doesn't want anything to do with it. Doesn't want anything to do with it. So here we are tonight. Leo, it's been a minute. What's going on in your world, man?
It's a little kind of crazy here. I'm getting ready to finally see Worthy on Trauma Dance. And,
oh my God.
And a couple hours after that, I'm going to Brazil. So it's going to... I hope it doesn't go really late because I need to come back home and get ready for the airport.
So do you literally, you're getting on a plane right after that on Saturday night?
It's like Sunday morning, so I don't know. Right, you have to be for international flight. I get 2 or 3 hours before the flight, so I need to check. They keep changing the flight time all the time, but I feel I probably need to be at like around 5, 6 a.m. in the airport. I need to take a look again, but yeah. And to prepare for this, I'm trying to get like as much as I can to work to compensate that I'm not gonna make money for a month. And also I need to train like someone to cover me in one of the jobs that I do too. So yeah, it's like all over.
Oh my God. And what, like barely a week to take care of it?
Yep.
A little over 10 days, maybe?
Yeah. And I still need to buy like all the stuff that people ask from Brazil, like to bring to Brazil, and some gifts too. I was telling Berger here that I haven't been in Brazil since we finished wrapping Shitstorm. So it's been 5 years I haven't seen my family.
Oh, wow. That's huge, man. This is going to be awesome, though. Like, yeah, like, I mean, you have to be looking forward to that. Aaron, obviously, going with, right?
Oh, no, yeah. We're going to be, like, kind of fast in my city, probably like a week and a half, and then we're going to travel the rest of the month all over Brazil. So we get to my city, and then we go to this, like, dunes, desert-like place in Brazil, and then we go to Rio, and then we go to Iguazu Falls. That's kind of like 3 Niagaras on top of each other.
Oh, wow.
And then we go back to my city to stay a couple more days before we come back. So it will be cool, but I don't know if we're going to be relaxing because we're going to be running.
I mean, you're going to be bouncing around, but is this Aaron's first trip to Brazil?
Will be a second, but the first one we just stay in my city. This is like when she gonna see different. Like we literally doing like, if we think like U.S. kind of distance is like if we fly to Michigan and then we go to L.A. and then we go to New York and then we go to Texas, kind of something like this.
Oh wow, dude, that's amazing. It's definitely on my bucket list. I want to go and what is it? Kiss Big Jesus's feet. You know, that whole
we're probably gonna go there because if you go to Rio, like I've been to Rio twice and I never been there, but like I'm pretty sure we're gonna do like this kind of stuff. Just also like because I never done and it's her first time too.
See, I that's my favorite part about travel. I'll hit every stupid tourist destination possible, like every single one of them, at least the first time. You know. My first
trip.
Like
here, I tell people like you gotta go to Times Square one time. When is your first time, and then you go never ever again.
Yeah, no, there's no reason to really hit Times Square once you get past that. Once you get past a certain point, it is useless. Yo, is that my mic? Uh-oh. All right, hang on. I think it's because of my cat. Anyway. Oh. it would not be us getting together if it were not for bad microphones, animals, and everything else. My first trip to the city, though, I was a kid. I was in like sixth grade, right? And I went to the Statue of Liberty. We didn't go all the way to the top. That seemed pointless. We went to the top of the pedestal, hung out there. That was very cool. Then my mom wanted to go to Ellis Island, but me and my dad were like, we don't care where a bunch of people came in. We don't want to read for the rest of the day. So we went back to the hotel room. She enjoyed it, thought it was awesome. But the next morning is what I really remember about my first trip to New York as a kid. And it's when I felt like I saw the real sights of the city.
Saw the rats.
We'd gone
Duke.
Very close. We'd gone to breakfast. We'd just gotten out and we're walking down the street. And then I see this lady and she's got 1 foot on the sidewalk, 1 foot in the street. And she's got her skirt pulled out, one hand in front, one hand in back. And she was just pissing in the gutter. Just straight up just pissing a flood in the gutter. And sixth grade me thinks about the same about that as 43-year-old me does. Absolutely amazing visit to New York.
Like, you see more of New York than I've done. Like
it was one of the greatest sights I ever saw. I was like, this is shockingly, it was shocking and amazing, and I absolutely loved it. I still love the city. I'm very excited to come up there next week.
That's
It's going to be
awesome.
fun.
Before I ask you how
Yeah.
have you been, I just want to acknowledge here everybody on our chat. Nicole is here. Dwayne is here. Roommate Burgess here on the chat too. Like, thank you everybody for coming to
Oh,
our
this is beautiful.
first episode here of Completely Cartoony.
The only cartoon show anybody should ever listen to in the history of cartoon shows. I really do think so. I think this is it. But I mean, dude, like this is the next 2 weekends for me are all going to be very very indulgent and a little bit raw about it too. Like to a point of, I'm very proud of what people are going to see. I'm also like a little bit terrified about it. Where Deer has been in our lives for like 3 years now. Really, I mean, summer of 2020 is when Derek sent me the first iteration of what the trailer was. You helped cut that.
You did all the
you
work.
gave us some awesome. you gave us some animation for it. You created our shithouse logo during that summer. This has all been like a huge culmination. And this weekend in Tennessee, after this broadcast goes up, which I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be Fantasy Shed or not. Maybe it's going to be the Cartoon Garage that we'll have to put it on. I don't know. I have no idea where this will land, but
Fantasy Shit
I can't
House.
think.
That's the
Fantasy Shit. That's oh, that's great. That's great. But after this goes up, I mean, we will have screened Friday night here in Tennessee, which has me nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've got friends, I've got family, I've got a bunch of people coming out. There's strangers coming to see this. There's a bunch of cast and crew.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be good.
How many people are you expecting there?
Near 60.
Oh.
Near, yeah, that's what I said too. I was like, fuck. People actually bought tickets. Fuck. So that's Friday night. And I guess it's one of those things. I guess what terrifies me more is I've gone back and I've watched the media a couple of times, and I keep telling people, and it's the lie I keep telling myself, oh, we just made this sweet little movie. We made this nice little movie. It's a story about, the need for transparency in our relationships. And then I watched it the other day. It's filthy. It's like there are points where I was like, I forgot that happened. I forgot this happens. Uh-oh.
But Ben,
oh no.
Life is filthy, so it's about
well,
life.
That's wait. So the lady at the theater today, this was great. I had to go and test the media that were playing to make sure everything played, everything was good. And I've QC'd the disc like twice, probably too many times. QC'd the disc. I know it's good. I get up there and I automatically go into explanation mode because the first thing that plays is a trailer for the only movie that's ever been banned there. So
what movie was banned there?
It's called Thong Girl 3.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Called yeah, and it wasn't banned because of content. It was banned because of the controversy that it generated locally. Is really why it was banned. They were like, look,
you have time to go through what was the controversy, or I don't know what's how this podcast works because it's completely new.
Well, no, I mean this is our show, Leo. We write the script, we write the book, we do what we want to do. So ultimately, what happened was a filmmaker friend of mine needed a mayor's office, right? So he shoots in the mayor's office in Gallatin because he knew the guy. They were buddies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he goes in there and he's like, "Hey, man, let me shoot." And the mayor goes, "What's the name of the movie?" He goes, "It's called Revenge of the Dark Widow," which it is. Like, it's Thong Girl 3, Revenge of the Dark Widow. And he just went by the secondary title. And then fucking he he shoots, everybody's happy. Turns out it was an election year. The mayor's political rivals heard the name of the franchise, Thong Girl, and immediately turned it into the mayor is shooting porn in the public office. This is no good. He shouldn't be mayor anymore. And the guy was one of the most popular mayors in the history of Gallatin, and he was not reelected.
Oh shit.
Yeah, as a result of that, he ends up having to there's a new law called the Thong Girl Law. Very real. It's on the books. No singular public official can give the okay for a public space to be used to shoot a film in anymore. Now they have to go through layers to make it happen. Yeah. So what do? I set up a screening, and the very first preview that I want to show is Thong Girl 3, the only movie banned there. And the lady that runs the theater, very sweet woman, she thinks it's hysterical. And I was like, well, so, I did tell my buddy Glenn I have to give Thong Girl her day at the Palace. And she started cracking up. She's like, I love it. That's great. Please do. Please do. And I was like, okay. So we did. And then I skipped ahead after the rest of the trailer, or before the rest of the trailers, because I also forgot we're showing the trailer for Cuck Island, and I forgot at the end of the trailer of Cuck Island there's a guy hanging himself just jizzing, and I was like, I don't think I want Donna to see that this morning. So so we skipped ahead and we watched the intro to Curse of the Werewolf. I might have to unplug this mic, guys. I don't know. This sound is bugging me. I don't know if the producer here is going to think maybe it might just sound better coming straight from the Mac. I probably not, but it's going to beat this fucking fuzz. But anyway, I watched it with her, and it was tremendous. We watched 5 minutes, just enough to catch how sharp it was going to be, how good it was going to look, and I'm shocked. Looks very good. Very proud.
All right.
Yeah. So.
You still have tickets for it, or it's all sold out?
Oh, I wish it was sold out. No, bro. The unfortunate thing is with that, it's a 200-seat theater, and we've sold 60 tickets, which I think is good. I mean, it's good for a thing that nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows what it's about.
If someone is watching on YouTube now, I can't hear my echo now.
Oh, can you? Uh-oh. That's what that's going to be. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's because I still have the mic. Let's see. Can you hear an echo now?
Hello? Yeah.
Can you hear an echo?
Yeah.
You can?
Yeah.
Okay, fuck it. Here. Look, we're going to go raw. I'm coming in raw. Can you hear an echo now?
Echo. Yeah.
Fuck! All right.
Just put the noisy headphone again.
All right. If it'll continue to read now. We're going to have to cut all this out. Guys, it's a brand new show. Everybody listening, this is
It's our first time.
Yeah, it is.
I can still hear him.
You don't see that other one here, do you? No. The other one? No, the other connector. I am fucked. Sorry.
What'd you do? It wasn't echoing before.
I unplugged it because I had to, and then now I'm trying to bend it in a way so that it's good. Okay, now I see it back up. I'll just hold my hand on it.
Okay.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there an echo or a fuzz?
No, it's like a little fuzz,
Okay.
but I think it's fine the way it is.
Okay, everybody. Welcome back to
Yeah.
Completely Cartoony. Thank you for bearing with us. This is a brand new show.
Start over.
Just so everybody.
How have you been?
Just so everybody knows. No. Fuck it. That's what it is, man. We're suffering through. Where Deer is going to be great. We're screening with Trauma Dance with a bunch of other amazing films. One of them's right after Dylan Mars Greenberg's new movie, which I cannot wait for. And fuck it, Leo. There's no good.
Someone want to go to get tickets for the movie theater and they're in Tennessee, where I can people that watch on YouTube right now, where they can get the ticket.
Oh, that's going to be at www.curseoftheweredeer.com. It's the first option up there. There are plenty of them left. It's going to be a good time. But if you're listening to this after the fact, you will never, ever be able to get tickets to it again. So, it'll be gone. However, you can join us the next week at the Beauty Bar in Manhattan for Trauma Dance, 23rd annual, and it will be free. It will be free.
Oh, yeah. Are you ready for a brand new segment?
Yes, I'm ready for a brand new segment.
All right, we're entering the segment Asian Aliens now.
Ooh. Okay.
So, to start, I know that's one of the things I recommend that we could be talking today, but we need to do anime because this is an anime podcast. But there's big news on aliens from far away galaxy, a long time ago in a far away galaxy. So Ahsoka dropped yesterday. You watch that?
I haven't had a chance. No, is it tremendous? Is it awesome?
I like it. It's basically the new season of Rebels. I don't know if you watch Rebels at all. It's one of the best Star Wars stories you can watch in a TV show, and they're really continuing that, and it's awesome. I'm a tiny bit disappointed being really picky with they recreating one scene, and there was 2 details that are not because they literally recreate the end of the show in one scene.
Oh wow! Okay.
And there was 2 little details, but it's just me being extra picky, and I can't even complain because the show so far is awesome. And it sucked that one of the main actors passed away recently. What's his name? Ray Stevenson, I think.
Oh wow! Okay. And I had no idea.
Yeah, he looked like I don't know if he's gonna be a villain or if it's those questionable, do I like him or not as a villain? But he's one of the bad guys, and he looked awesome, and it sucked that he passed. But I guess so far on those 2 episodes, he's doing amazing, and it's I don't know, it's being his last thing, he's doing a really amazing job. And yeah, they even put on the first episode to our friend Ray.
Oh, that's so heavy to have a thing hit in your life and in your world, and then you die. That's terrible. You're not even there to enjoy it.
I know. Now he would have get he went to the Star Wars Celebration Day this year when they're promoting the show that's coming up, and he was so happy there. And I feel now that people are watching him, he would be those people that he would go for the next 20 years to every celebration, and people would just love him a lot.
Oh man, that's my fear. We're gonna screen Weird Deer, and then I'm gonna die in a plane wreck on the way home. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be terrible. But at least
you're fine.
People would have seen it. That's it. At least folks will see it. But that's awesome. No, it's very much on my to-watch list. I haven't been watching as much, simply because of one thing alone.
Time.
Well, time for sure. But then I got wrapped into working on my deck. I started with my stairs. My stairs were falling apart, and then they're now very sturdy and very good. And I was like, wow, I should take care of the rest of the deck. And then as I started cracking into it, it became a much bigger job than I had anticipated. And we're in the middle of this ass of a heat wave. And I'll go outside, I'll work for 30 minutes, I'll come inside, I'll rest for 15. Like, it's that fucking hot. I'm soaked by the end of the day. I've also been on a diet. I've lost like 22 pounds and like
nice.
Yeah, it's been crazy. I've started counting calories. Fucked up. It's weird, but it's good. It's wonderful. And the last couple of days, I noticed that like I'm dropping more and quicker than I had been, and I know it's just because it's all water weight from everything that I've been sweating outside. It's nuts. But it's good. I mean, it's very good. I feel healthy. I'm happy, and my deck is looking better. So, go team. You won't even recognize me, Leo. You'll be like, what is this bag?
You need a name tag. Yeah, you need a name tag.
Right. But no, that's awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. It is on my watch list. I have a little bit of time tomorrow as people start getting into town, so we'll probably throw it on when some visitors start to arrive.
All right. And when you finally have more time, if you want to watch like it's just, I forgot, like 4 seasons, something like this. Rebels is like amazing show. You have like really good stories in the middle, and you're not gonna regret when you watch that too. Especially to know better the characters in Ahsoka too. That they're bringing like a lot of people. Even like one of the best is like the new droid. His name is Chopper, and he murdered everything on the show. Like, he murdered people. He tried to kill all the droids. He's insane, and he's amazing. And his voice he was like a secret the whole time until the end of the Rebel show that Dave Filoni voices Chopper.
What?
And sometimes you can't. His whole thing is like chirp chirp, like saying just like kind of robot noise, but sometimes you can hear like him saying stuff, even like cursing. Like, it's not like you hear the words, but like it sounds like he's like something like I don't know.
So it's a little like Kenny in South Park in those early seasons.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
but he's swearing under all that. Yeah,
you can figure out like he's really sassy, and he's like he murders people. For kids cartoon, they kill a lot of people on Rebels, and it's amazing.
I see, and I never got into it. Again,
because they target kids on Disney XD. Like, people, they don't realize at that point, and now it's like, oh, I don't want to watch 4 seasons, but like it is a really good show with a really good story.
See, I'm very much into it. Again, it's been a thing that I never I never got into, and it's because I slightly fell out of a Star Wars loop for a while, but Mandalorian kind of pulled me back in. I know Ahsoka is going to be awesome, so
it looked like a movie. Like, from all the recent stuff Star Wars released, that definitely is all the money is.
Really?
Yeah, like so far. So they have some practical stuff. Like, I don't know, everything looks amazing visually. They put the money that they didn't put on Kenobi on Ahsoka. They put like the money they didn't put on Boba Fett. They put in Ahsoka.
Well, I mean, Ahsoka herself is Rosario Dawson, right?
but like Ahsoka in general, she's like Dave Filoni main child. Like he got like some his children that he created that now it's like mainstream and people love. Like Captain Rex is one of them that you saw also on Clone Wars. But like
Right.
Ahsoka, like we talk on the Clone Wars episode, he created when he was like a director. I forgot all the titles, but he was in charge of The Last Airbender, and he got hired for Star Wars. And the first thing he did was the movie, and he introduced Ahsoka, and everybody hated her at that point. But like now, she's like what everybody loves, because he had the time to develop her through Clone Wars and some on Rebels. That like she's most of people like top 5 characters ever.
See, and that's the thing. I love how if a character is given time to grow, build, and develop, like people turn around. People don't like it when you move their cheese. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no,
like
it's like annoying. They don't give a chance. They're like, oh, Anakin didn't have a Padawan. We never saw her. It's like, yeah, just let him tell the story. I don't think he's gonna change the future. That is like the originals. Like he gonna explain why she wasn't there. Like
I love
they people are not patient.
it. Well, I mean, especially nowadays that patience has gone out the window, and I, frankly, Leo, am wanting to keep our audience from losing their patience. They're here for one reason: to tune in to a brand new show where we discuss anime. And
The real cartoons.
The real cartoons. The only cartoons worth cartooning, honestly.
True.
And I thought for our first one, we had a little bit of back and forth. We had a little bit of discussion about this, and it feels only natural to dip into what I guess can only be a cornerstone of the anime.
It is a classic.
And that, friends, is Akira. We're discussing Akira today. And actually, on that other show that we used to be a part of, that we're no longer affiliated with in any way, shape, or form, people had actually asked us to kind of talk about this. So tonight, let's get into it. Had you ever seen this?
It was my first time. I don't know. You said it was your first time too, right?
Yeah, same. I've never watched Akira. I've always been what's the word? Like sort of surrounded by and inundated with imagery from Akira.
Yeah.
Like
I kept
that.
seeing like watch this. People's like, oh, I recommend it. It's like always Hulu trying to make me watch, and I know the name and the like my background. Like I see all the time, and I know it's like a classic for anime, but I don't know why. I just never try.
See, and for me, it was I can tell you exactly why I never did, because there's a lot of me that doesn't care. It's why I don't care about the Fast and the Furious so much. I know those movies have blown up past what I'm about to say, but I always thought it was leaning more into like the motorcycle racing. You know what I mean? Like, and that just doesn't turn my crank, man. And
You don't care about the race wars.
No. Nope, don't care about them at all. Race wars are going to happen no matter what we do. Let them happen, Leo. It's going to just happen. So I
don't know for me if it was the drawing, because I forgot what's the name of the first anime I watched, but the second it was Dragon Ball, like the first one, like little Goku. And then I don't know, kind of like Pokemon, Digimon, but like this one, I don't know if because the style is like a different kind of style that usually is not the kind of anime that I usually would try to watch. So I feel like that impact me. Never wanted to watch this. I never even knew what it was about, but I think it was like the drawing that for some reason it made me not watch.
See, and again, it's all about, and the bike now is iconic, and it has a whole other meaning inside of this world for me after seeing it. But to the uninitiated, I didn't care. I didn't give not a damn about that bike. I'm like, okay, red bicycle man with a pill on his jacket, nobody cares. All right, see you later. So very wrong. So very wrong. This movie is undeniable, man. Like straight up from the beginning, this movie is undeniable. Um, it starts in what is it, 1988, and then immediately it's like 30 something years later, and we're in 2019. Another nuclear bomb is dropped on Japan in World War III in the
Yeah,
80s.
Isn't like weird that they're preparing for the Olympic Games? That I'm assuming is the next year, but Japan actually was supposed to host the Olympic Games in 2020. And usually you don't know that far behind, like ahead, I guess, when you're gonna host. So it's kind of like creepy that they got that right.
Yeah, dude, like that. It's those little synchronicities in life that I think are kind of special. Like it's when the Simpsons predicted Donald Trump. It's the same thing, right? They don't know that far ahead that he's going to come down a golden staircase, but he does it.
But the things like this and the Simpsons stuff, do you think it happened because they predict the future, or because that happened? People was like, let's do what they said, like let's host the Olympic because of this movie, or Trump is like, I'm gonna do exactly what they put on Simpson and look like they predicted.
And it's like, you know what, that seems like fun. That seems like a good idea. Let's just sort of troll the world. Oh my god. You know what? You may not be wrong, Leo. You really may not be wrong. There's a lot to be said about predictive programming, and there's a lot to be said about implanting sort of ideas, right? So, as a culture, as a whatever, and maybe Japan had put in a bid years before. Maybe they'd been putting in a bid, and maybe it was the Olympic Committee that was like, "We're gonna fuck with them in 2020. We're gonna fuck with them leading up to 2020. We're gonna make Akira real." Um, but I love the fact that this picks up in World War III, and there's another interesting sort of aspect to like Japanese culture that happened because we dropped the bomb on them. And I don't say that to be flip. I mean, that's just, we did that as a people. Beginning,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no. I think it's beginning in like 1950. I want to say like 52, 53, somewhere in there. All of Japan's like science fiction stories and a lot of their dramas were centered on a nuclear explosion. I mean, that's where Godzilla comes from.
Yeah.
It is born from that. Fucking, and it's not a documentary. It's like a drama about life after the bomb, just called Hiroshima, and it's a hard watch, and it was buried for a long time. But then I want to say it was like 2017. It got like a remaster, and it's a beautiful film. But everything, at least more so than in other cultures, and I think it's because of the direct impact on a small island nation. Uh, a lot of Japan's science fiction and art centers around the bomb, and Akira is no different. No different.
But there's like another thing in this movie too, that you, as someone that lived in this decade, that's the 80s, that
Yes.
I wasn't part of it. Why in the 80s every movie feel like even in the 70s too, like it has like this same like shitty vibe that the futures suck.
Yeah, no, it's this real like nihilistic worldview,
Or
right?
even the future, just the
And
present too, because they could. I forgot when like the Warriors they're from. Like it's that kind of vibe, like the Warriors or like Nukem High or like all the like Traumaville situation. Like it's kind of like this movie kind of make me feel
well,
that it could be in the same universe as Traumaville.
well, bro, it also if you look at the original Candyman too, made in the late 80s, early 90s, right? Like Cabrini Green is a horrible part of Chicago, and like particularly at that point in time. Um, I would think as a filmmaker, they probably took, I guess, sort of the ugliest and the prettiest parts of what's going on, and you amplify it, right? Um, I forget what it is, but there are these big, sort of sweeping backgrounds of New Tokyo that are gorgeous, right? That are I mean, huge buildings, lots of lights, everything's just amped up for what is the rich part.
Yeah.
And then the slums, like when we first jump in and that guy's like coming out of the apartment and he flicks his cigarette on the ground and it's just burning and he goes hunched over down the street, like that's dirty. That's dirty. And and I think what you do is you just amplify those parts. So every movie in New York in the 70s and 80s, right, that was in like Times Square, it was all the dirty like the porno theaters and the
Yeah.
bums on the street and all of that. Like the original street trash is very much the same way. I kind of love it. I think it personally. I think it's great. I love to see that level of filth and things. Like everything is just covered in grease and dirt.
It was like funny when it's not funny as the scene being funny, but like I was trying to watch this movie today, like being like a last minute watch, and the one time Aaron opened the door and entered the room, it was kind of like that rapey scene. That it wasn't like really. They did like I don't know. I don't know. I'll say if I should trigger warn people, but they ripped the shirt off and show like her boobs, and they're like, "What are you watching?" And that was like the only scene of the whole movie that something like that happened.
The only time, and it's a weird thing about culture too. There, do you know what I mean? Because like it's almost like she continues on like there's whatever, this is a thing that just happened, we're going to continue with our day. And a lot of the guys around her were very much sort of the same way. It's an odd placement for an odd scene, and then she's just standing there like shirtless for a while, or like just pulling it around her when Tetsuo starts to kind of begin to freak out. You know what I
Because
mean?
they're more worried, like they give her like a jacket to cover there, but like you got the jacket now, you weigh that because it's more important that we just beat the shit out of this guy first instead of taking care of you. They just went through this whole traumatic thing and also got punched.
Right, right. It tells you something, I guess, in that part of the world, like a little bit, sort of how women and female characters are sort of treated in those stories at that time. You know what I mean? Um, it's a weird movie though, man. I don't, and there's no real way to like to talk about it without sort of really explaining it, because
I
if
had to
people
read it
haven't,
after, I'm kind of stupid and I see what happened, but at the same time I'm like, what was the point? And then I had to read the whole Wikipedia plot to be like, okay, I guess.
so, and that's the other thing, right, man, is it's like with something like this, it's that heavy, with that heavy of a beginning, right? Nuclear war, boom, bombs drop. Now it's 30 some odd years later. We're prepping for the Olympics. Neo Tokyo is trash. However, You've got these motorcycle gangs, these bike gangs that are popping up. I found out that the capsules were named the capsules because of the drugs they like to take.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're pill poppers. Anyway, so it's them versus the clowns. And it is a pretty awesome like street chase that leads to a couple of wrecked bikes, and then from there, what is it? Tetsuo ends up like what, almost smacking into a kid. He has to like lay his bike down, right, so he doesn't hit.
So
the
that's
kid.
the thing. Like, did he do that, or the kid? Because the kid has those powers too. So the kid could probably just. I think the kid knocked him like out of the way.
I think you're right. Ultimately, I think you're right.
Because I think they mentioned that, like, this kid, whatever, and
so all of a sudden we're now jumped into a world where, and I thought it was this, and it still could be. They don't really explain it too well, but the babies, the three babies that we're introduced to, and this kid's one of them. He has these powers. He looks like a mutant, and immediately my mind jumps to, this is the freak. This is the mutant that the bomb created. You know what I mean? This is one of those mutant childs from the bomb. But I don't know that they really say that or explain that.
So, no, when I was reading, they were before they're what caused, like, one of them is the one that caused the bomb, but they're because on that flashback he got at the end when them like blowing the TV, the others like blowing up the TV. James gonna
he's not
cut this audio again.
Yeah, when he's blowing the TV.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. What was like? I'm glad I came. No, but yeah, like when they're doing it, like those are the four of them, because one of them is, I don't know, like Akira is like, that's like the thing I'm not sure. Akira is the name of the one that did the nuclear, or Akira is the level, kind of like Buddha. The like Buddha is not I guess it's not a person, it's the level you get on you. I don't know. I could be saying shit too.
I hear exactly what you're saying. So, and there's where the big discussion lay with this movie, right? What you find out as Tetsuo becomes sicker, more delusional, as he dips in and out of sort of this state. Everybody keeps talking about Akira, and there are flashbacks when he's sort of in the hospital when the government first picks him up, right? And he's having the first sort of round of attacks. Well, actually, rewind a little bit. The one that sticks with me the most is when he's getting sick right before they pick him up, as they're picking him up. And his friends are still there, and then the cops come in, the colonel and all of those guys come out. But he's sitting there and he's freaking out, and then his gut like explodes and starts to pour out on the street, and he's like trying to stuff it back up in him, and you see what he's seeing, and then it cuts to another shot, and you just see him like with
crazy,
air,
like the pills, the pills they're taking,
pouring sweat. He's freaking out. Like the imagery in that is just amazing.
But the other thing I don't get too is those weird kids, babies, keep saying like everybody has it.
Right.
So that's it. I don't understand. They say everybody has a cure. Like is a cure the force? That's like kind of like the movie Force. I'm still confused what a cure is, but they're saying like everybody has it, and I don't know 100% what trigger now is like the friend to I suck with names, but what's the names here?
Which one?
The Tetsuo.
His buddy.
The one that, yeah. So what triggered him to start having those visions and the power was being contact, kind of like with the one that pushed him on the floor from the bike, or because at that point he was already starting to be a little crazy. But then it looked like they're saying if the government do experiments that make them get to that point.
No. So I read a little. I read a little too, because. And this is the beauty of the internet. You can find fucking anything you want to on the internet. But in one of the things that I read.
Oh, sorry, we have Batman.
Oh, Batman's in the chat.
On the chat.
What? What's wrong with Batman?
He said you break our one rule, but like
this is what
I think that's a different show. It's a different show, right?
It's an entirely different show. There is no
completely cartoony. The one rule is there's no rule.
Yeah, completely cartoony. There are no rules. Yeah. Hang on one sec. I have to let him know this. This is so.
It's like, what is this? It's completely cartoony.
Yeah. Anyway, forget that. Whatever Batman's saying, I don't know what's wrong with him. But like in one of the things that I read going on through here, it was it's the power struggle between Canada. I'm going to call him Canada. Between
Canada.
Yeah,
okay.
Between Canada and Tetsuo. It's the power dynamic that really sort of triggered it. It was Tetsuo's quest to be more powerful, not to be seen as a little kid, not to always be sort of pushed down. Listen, hey guys, if you're out there in the chat, like somebody's got to shut this Batman person down. I don't know what it is. I don't know who he is. I don't know why he's griping, but you know what? Here on Completely Cartoony, we don't cotton to that. You know, we give the people.
I don't know if we shouldn't be messing with Batman because it's his vengeance. So I
don't know. So anyway, it was that quest for power. It's that quest for power that really started to trigger things.
He was tired of being like the little bitch of the crew.
Yep.
Like the one that people always have to rescue. He was Butters of the group.
And what happened to Butters?
He become a villain. What was it? The name of the villain?
I did too. I forget completely. Yeah, but he's draped in aluminum foil. It's Professor Chaos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think it's more about that. I think that's the notion that the movie is really kind of pushing, is that what do you call it? Like quest for power ultimately destroys, but then like the movie lets us know, it also ultimately will lead to a rebirth. You know what I mean? It's the destruction of everything, but can lead to new light, new beginning, a whole new universe. Yeah. That's really what it boils down to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we're having a whole conversation here on the chat again. Batman is again saying, "What is this?" And Remy Burjo, it's asking for help because apparently I tied him in the basement of the apartment and took over his computer.
Huh. I don't know about that. There's somebody else faking Papa Bergio in there. The real Papa Bergio has come with us. So this is all giant and it's all subterfuge. But anyway, back to Akira. We have to leave the chat alone. I mean, somebody.
So since you,
I think,
since you talk about the rebirth and kind of like going to the end of the movie to they create the singularity and went to, like, from what I had to read that part because I was like, I'm not 100% sure what happened. I didn't know they went to a different dimension because I never know, like, are they dreaming in a different dimension? I never know when anything is happening there. But it looked like they went to a different dimension to have the big explosion that would be like the new dimension, Big Bang and start like the new, like the whole new universe. So would then those five, because it's like the three babies, the Akira person that came back, and what's his face again? The
Canada?
No, the one that exploded, Tetsuo. So those five, would they be the ancient aliens of this new dimension?
I think they are. I think they are. They would have to be. You know what I mean? Like they've passed in and out of sort of this realm. They've touched the Godhead. You know, they're acquainted with it. They understand. They know. They carry a knowledge, right? Yeah, it's one of the headiest things, and I think it leaves itself so much open for interpretation while still giving you just enough to like chew on for a minute. Because even at the end of the film, Tetsuo is never gone. He's never gone. You know what I mean? Like, because he gives the final monologue as he has become this new thing.
Yeah, but on a new dimension.
Right, in another place. Well, yes.
So he's gone from one dimension, unless you consider being inside Canada's heart. He's gonna always be there. But yeah.
It's amazing. Hang on.
But again, like I know you having a discussion with Batman here, but
we have to keep the pod.
we have to keep the pod. I still think this whole thing is too much Star Wars in a way, because they're like the whole like Akira, the energy is in everyone, and then they have like those special powers, like the ones that unlock like what a normal person have. So it's kind of like if they're the Jedis, and Tetsuo became like a Sith, and they're
right.
It's I don't. I got like a little of this too,
so,
with my dumb mind that have to make a connection with something I actually like to like
to really get into it. See, I thought this was like beautiful. There are a couple of points, you're absolutely right, that are desperately like kind of confusing. You know what I mean? It's visually stunning throughout. It is visually stunning.
The animation is really good.
But there are points in story, and maybe it's something that's a little lost in translation too. I had to watch the the dubbed version, because I wasn't going to read it.
Oh, so I watched the dub also because I was trying to eat and watch at the same time, and I was like, I need to look at my plate, because I can't eat if I don't look at my food. But I was like thinking, like, should I try the subtitle or because sometimes subtitle, like, not that I understand Japanese, but I don't know, sometimes I watch like the newer Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Super. I kind of like the Japanese more than the English, because it's funnier.
And it feels like it also, there's something that triggers in the brain when you watch anything that's in a foreign language or in its native tongue, versus, you know, having an overdub of it, right? Like, there's something about it that is completely, it flows better, the timing feels right. And even if you don't know what's being said, you can feel it in a lot of moments. Like, I totally get that.
And you can translate like perfectly too, excuse me, if you want, because if you dub, you need to follow the flow.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to pick the word or the sentence that would make sense with the flow of the person speaking, over like if you just slap a text there and is more accurate.
See, and and that's the other thing. I love the idea and notion of like lost in translate. It's so fucking real that things just get completely like sideswiped in translation. So he's been in this hospital. He goes out to find the babies, or the babies send toys to attack him, right? Like, is this a delusion? This was a thing.
So that's the part I never understand. Like, because it felt like he was going crazy, but then it felt like the babies was involved on this. But then I'm like, even if they're involved, are they really attacking him, or just in his mind, like those things that, like, if you die in your mind, you die in real life kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard to tell what's real.
Oh, okay, we got invaded.
What's going on?
What is this?
What is what? This is who is this on our show?
Yeah,
Leo,
we just got invited here. Like, what's happening?
Wait, how did you find out about Completely Cartoony, friend? Who are you?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Your YouTube? Oh no! Oh, I didn't know. I was completely unaware. We thought this was the Completely Cartoony YouTube channel and stream.
Yeah, I guess I put the wrong website here.
Oh, that's
Leo,
our bad.
you are banned. You're out of Hall of Toonies forever.
Well, you know where he does exist though? Where he does exist is in the
Hall of Cartoonies.
in the corridor of cartoons is where he exists now. In the corridor of cartoons. Listen, I don't know. Since you're here, I guess now's the time. We've only been on the air for like a little bit, but we've already started getting emails.
Like we got sponsored by Big Dan. Like, and he said completely cartoony. I didn't hear Total Tuner on the sponsorship.
Yeah, so I don't know what's up with that, man. And there's a whole theme.
There was a whole intro song too. Like, I don't know. Like, it didn't say Total
You got a new intro song?
Yeah.
What is this?
Look, like, this is our show. This is the show. This is what it is. It's completely cartoony.
Like, you're lucky. You guys are lucky I love Akira, because this movie fucking kicks ass.
Well, wait, though. Listen, we've already got an email. We've barely been talking for like an hour, and already emails are...
I have to get back to
listen,
my job.
real quick.
You guys shooting right now?
Listen,
Yeah, I'm literally on set.
Little Jimmy Adamson.
I'm away from the set, so I can yell on the phone.
Our friend, Little Jimmy Adamson, has sent us an email. He says, "Hey, this is Little Jimmy Adamson from Bayonne, your favorite little stinker. I love the new show. So glad Leo is back. Things have sucked since he left, and I cried, and I smashed a plate in my mom's kitchen. Lol. Been in a timeout for 3 months." He says, "Thank you so much for the new show. So much better than stinky old show. And I love Akira. It's my favorite anime next to Sexcraft. Okay, love you. Bye." That's from Little Jimmy Adamson, our #1 fan in Bayonne, New Jersey, sent literally.
And he's also now banned from Total.
Also, our super fan Dwayne is saying hi, James, and he's happy that we're doing Akira too.
Well, you know,
look, I'm not. Akira is amazing. I can't get too mad about Akira. I'll tell you before I have to leave, but my favorite part about Akira is that I found a 30-minute compilation on YouTube, and it's just them yelling at each other of Tetsuro Kaneda 30 minutes straight from the entire movie.
I need to find that.
I love it.
Tetsuro Kaneda.
That's like literally like a fourth of the movie. It's just them, yeah.
It's like the final.
All right, I'm going back to my job.
All right,
All right, thank you for dropping our podcast.
Yeah, completely cartoony, bro.
Our first guest.
Fuck out of here.
You made the hallway of cartoon.
Yeah, the corridor of cartoons. The corridor of cartoons. Yeah, there we go. He can be on. It'll be fine. One day we'll have a real sit down there. What's the name of that show that he does? Him and that lady, Nikki.
What's the name? It's like holy. I don't know. Cartoons. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that. It's bound to be another show, I'm sure.
Tiny Toons. Yeah, I don't know.
Tiny Toons. Well, see, I love Steeler. He says we both love anime and American cartoons. I couldn't agree more.
Also,
Steeler.
like, at what point we draw the line? What is anime or not? It's like some that's made in Japan, because that's most of American cartoons animated in Japan. So
I mean, listen.
Aren't we all anime?
Some cartoon hosts want to draw that line. Others of us, we exist in a space where everything exists.
The thing is, like, completely cartoon, we don't discriminate. If you want a discriminating podcast, that's the other one.
That's the other one. Yeah, you can listen to it here. We celebrate everything. Who knows what else we'll see? Like,
we want diversity and culture here.
Yeah. It's going to be wonderful. But anyway, back to this before we were so rudely interrupted.
It's like anyone can invade this podcast now. I don't. Are we expecting more guests?
I don't know, but like I've been checking this email, low-key. We have one for a little bit later on that I'll read, and then we also have a video. We have a video from someone that's popped in.
All right.
Hang on. Let's see. And it's another one of these people who's like, they're so happy to see us go off and really do our own thing, like we'd been talking about before. I'll have to send this to our editor later on, but I think if I play it, you can hear it. So we'll just do it this way right now. Tell me if you can hear this. Hang on.
Yo, what's up, completely cartoony? Hey, there's no background noise today. I was going to stand in a wind tunnel, but you know how it goes. Leo, what's up? Long time no talk. I love you, man. Thank God we got this program, huh? Hey, I got a recommendation for you guys. Ben, by the way, thank you for supporting me in my time of need for the festival. Greatly appreciate it. The Dark Arts Festival is wonderful. Thank you. So the new Cartoony. You guys gotta watch Guts. I mean, Berserk is the best. Berserk is #1 comic in my mind, and the best anime cartoon you'll ever see. It is completely gory, great character development, great character. Like when they die, I cry. It's amazing, but they die gruesomely and amazingly, and you guys should definitely check it out.
All right, that's our friend.
Awesome. We love you, Joshua.
Joshua Dahlin, straight up from the Horror Depot, sent us a video on our very first episode. How does that happen?
How do people even know that? It's like a brand new show, and people already like. I feel like they wanted for this for so long that they have this ready to go. And also, I want to tell, like Dwayne is saying here, his cartoons are 100% him, 100% America.
100%. Like, and that's the other thing. I low-key talked to Steeler not infrequently. Me and Steeler, we talk a lot. And he sent me a note the other day, and when we get to New York at Trauma Dance, we're going to do a little art swap. Me and Steeler. And
nice.
So, yeah, no, it's wonderful. And to have him come over with us. Dwayne strikes me as the type of guy who not only can appreciate our show, but can appreciate that other show that shall go unnamed right now. Like
our show, he doesn't discriminate.
Exactly. That's our friend. That's our friend right there. But in speaking of friends, Tetsuo and Canada have the weirdest relationship. And also Canada and Cairo have a very weird relationship. That's the lady, right? Because Canada starts like laying some smackdown at the beginning of it.
Kyoko,
yeah, there you go. What'd I say? Cairo? Yeah.
Cairo, yeah. Different place.
But they have a weird sort of dynamic that goes on. A very weird dynamic. Like, he's very much hitting on her. She's very much not feeling it.
Yeah.
But then, like, as the film progresses, and I think it's just because everybody is locked into this whole fucked up thing together, like feelings begin to grow, you know.
Well, also like the whole thing, like you save my life, I save your life, and it keep happening over and over. So you I don't know, it's like you grow more like getting to like the other person. It doesn't need to be something romantically, but like you'll be like, oh, I know this person got my back, kind of.
Yeah, it's trauma bonding is what it is. It's trauma bonding.
It's like how we met, like trauma bonding.
Exactly how we met. That's great. But no, their dynamic shifts, everything and once, like, it's an impossible movie to really talk about. Like, it really is, because of how deep it goes, because of how big everything gets, and because of the scope of it.
Also, I wasn't sure if the military guy, if he was a good or a bad character. Because, like, I'm really confused. Like, the guy that was sponsoring, like, what was his agenda? The guy sponsoring the terrorists. Because before I thought, like, oh, maybe he's like those, I'm in the government, but I know this is wrong, and I'm helping them to free the population. But then you see he's just like a guy trying to get his money, get the fuck out of there. Like, I'm afraid I'm going to die kind of thing, and kill anyone, like, just destroy any evidence or person that can put me together with this group. But also the military guy, he's kind of like a dick. I don't like him. But then he's like, oh, the whole fault here is the capitalism, make everybody suffer or whatever, and I'm taking over. And I was like, sure, like a military dictatorship is not good, but at the same time, you can see a lot of problems there. It is the crazy capitalism that, like we mentioned before, like you saw that guy's mansion, that it's as big as the Olympic stadium they're building, and it looked like pretty and a nice part of the city, and the poor population, they're like sleep on the street and having the worst time ever all the time.
See, and dude, I think you literally just answered your own question. I think you nailed it like right to the wall.
Like, they both suck though. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's no, that I think that's the idea too, is it's like, whether it's the power that Tetsuo, he's a villain, that guy, villain, power of capitalism, power of the military, power, it all begins to corrupt over the course of time. Everything is corrupted. Nothing is awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, even in Canada too. Like, he's a leader of a gang that, as far as I know, they just like to go and beat each other. Right. It's like, again, watching the Warriors too. Like, sure, they're like the main characters. We're hoping they make it home or whatever, but they're just like a gang going out to be a gang that usually does not, I don't know, help the poor or whatever. They just want to drug and each other and start like a fight. Not that it's bad to drug each other, but I mean, like, they're not.
Well, without consent, drugging each other is a problem. If somebody slips you a dose of acid, it's a bad time, Leo, and you don't know about it. It's a bad time, brother. It's not. That's no fun. No fun. But
they steal too, because he said, like, you want a bike like mine, you steal your own.
You steal your own. You steal one yourself, right? You can't handle this bike. You got to go steal you one and figure it out. It's hard to say. There are no good guys in this at all. Like, the colonel, bad guy. The scientist, bad guy. Because we find out that, like, he said he couldn't throw the specimens out, right? Because they were too good. And this is where I got a little confused. And even on the second watch, like, I'm probably going to have to watch this again. But was he talking about Tetsuo from the beginning? Like, knowing that he was Akira? Or that he had the potential to become Akira? Or was he just...
No.
Do you know?
Because I was still confused on the whole water coloring thing he kept staring at.
Right. The vibration thing. Let's see what happens now to this. You know what I mean? Let's see what happens. Do they match up? Do they match up? Do they whatever? And then when that started going crazy, also like so the movie dips and gets a little confusing. Where it gets amazing again is when they're back in the stadium and Tetsuo and Canada are having this massive battle. They're shooting. Canada's trying to kill him with a laser.
Also, right before this happened, I don't know if I blink, or like, where did he got the arm from? Like, it was the space station that he went there to stop shooting him, and he absorbed the metal.
No. Great question. So yeah, so the space station tries to blow him. The space station tries to blow him. It does not blow him. It melts. The first one misses like everything. They're able to sort of get away from it. Big explosion because of his psychic power and everything else going on with him because he's growing stronger and stronger. Even the blast doesn't affect him past, what he's able to sort of escape, right? Now, the second blast, part of his arm gets caught in and it burns his arm off, right? Because there's a second blast. Takes away part of his arm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as both he and Canada are there. Canada manages to get away from the blast, but Tetsuo is hit in the arm. It melts off part of his arm. It's obliterated, but he's alive. And from the rubble around him, he manifests an arm. It's not the space station. Or if it is, and it fell, like whatever, but it's from the wreckage and everything around him that it pulls a new arm on. And that, it's alluded to earlier on, and it is, it becomes this weird sort of like body horror thing, right? It becomes this weird sort of body horror. Almost Cronenbergian to a degree, right? There are elements of The Fly. There are elements of other really crazy body horror stuff, and it starts with that arm. Star Wars, when Luke gets his hand.
Every person has at least one arm in Star Wars.
They all start to become metal again, right? They all start to become metal again.
It's like Darth Vader, he had no limbs. Like, the only arm that he had left was the one that was already metal. Like when Obi-Wan chopped him like a carrot.
Exactly.
But going on this a little even before, on the bridge scene, when I keep reading his name. I'm so bad with names. You can imagine me on a networking event. I just get introduced to someone and I already forgot their name immediately. Tetsuo, he's on the bridge. Think he's a superhero now, whatever. He got a cape and he got followers.
Right.
Does he not control anything, or he's just a dick that when he go to destroy the army, he literally murder everybody that were there to support him?
Dude, I think it's like, I think he's a dick. I think you're right. I think he can't control. I think it's too much power. He doesn't know how to control it. So he leans into being a dick. Do you know what I mean? He may not have...
I don't know if those things are like, oops, I don't know how strong I am, or something. I haven't watched a lot of The Boys, but if you're like, the Homelander is just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if when I'm trying to beat someone up, I'm going to kill a bunch of other people that has nothing to do with it.
No, Homelander's an asshole.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a terrible person.
But he control his power 100%, right? That's the difference that I'm thinking. Like, it's just the other ones, like, I want to murder people, but like, if he dies, or I control my power, but I don't give a fuck. That's like.
I think you're right. I think he's apathetic in the scenario. I think it's collateral damage that he's willing to put up with to continue to carry on his power.
Okay.
That's what I think. And at this point too, like he's not even in control of his own mind. He's not even in control of who he is and what he's becoming. He's grasping for control, but he's lost it. He's already losing it. So, whatever. As Akira begins to come into full form, as Tetsuo fully becomes Akira, and whether that's a god, a deity, a fucking state of mind, state of being, it is still sort of not fully explained.
It's the midichlorians.
It's a midi-chlorians. There you go. And that's the other thing. So before all the transformation stuff, before his arm gets zapped off, whatever, when the colonel shows him what Akira is, and what they have labeled it, it's like spines, and it's the nervous system of this kid that had this power, right, that they're supposed to be studying, and it's all the pieces that make us up. I think what the filmmaker is trying to say, and where discussion is able to sort of be had, I think that is them saying the things that make us up are the things that give us the power to be able to create and destroy universes and worlds, right? I don't know that it's a single person per se. At least that's the way that I interpreted it. And that took me a second viewing and some deep reading to kind of figure that out. But I think that's what they're trying to say by that. Or it could just be a dead kid and they took his parts out. It could be that simple. I don't know.
Yeah, I need to find like those videos when someone's like, understand the movie, whatever. And then it's like, understand Akira. Because, I don't know, like some parts I'm like, okay, I see what they're trying to do here. But some parts, I don't know, maybe I'm too dumb to understand.
I don't think it's about smart or dumb. I really don't. And that's where I think a filmmaker, I think a storyteller intentionally leaves something a little bit murky. You know what I mean? I don't know that it's supposed to make complete and total sense. I don't feel like it does. I really don't feel like it does. Or is supposed to even. You know what I mean? I think it's one of those situations. It's very good though, and the fact that for 40 years people still talk about it. For 40 years people still debate on it. For 40 years it's still not answered. I think that's the joy. I really do. I think that's the joy of it.
Is Akira considered like a mainstream classic or a cult classic?
Wow, that's a great question. I mean, it's a cornerstone of anime, that's for sure. Anime as a subgenre of animation in and of itself is sort of culty. I would almost say cult classic. I don't know that I would consider this mainstream. I really don't.
Okay. Because I don't know, like maybe if you see it as an anime universe, it would be a mainstream, but if you see it as a whole, consider any kind of movie and cartoons, maybe it's a cult classic then.
Yeah, you're probably right. I would think that it's a thing that most people are saying, oh, if you're going to get into anime, you should start here. It's a good starting point, you know?
Trying to think, what was an anime pre-Akira? Because I don't know that many old, like, I don't know, like, because I think even, like, Dragon Ball was around this time, too, right? It was in, like, 89 or something.
I want to say, yeah. I want to say that's right. I mean, I really came to learn of anime in college, so everything was more or less already there, like Pokemon, Dragon Ball, Princess Mononoke, like all of that stuff already was real and existed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm unfamiliar with the history, and for the longest amount of time, man, for the longest amount of time, I would only watch what people showed me. You know what I mean? So,
and like, I know you can judge this being a movie comparing to a cartoon that has like 300,000 episodes, but I feel like the care on the animation here compared to, like, I don't know, like, I watch a lot of Dragon Ball. I even start watching again Dragon Ball Kai on Hulu because it's like Dragon Ball Z with no bullshit, kind of.
right.
But this one, like, I don't know, you try to, it's like a lot to do, so you kind of like cut corners, and this one is like they put the care and effort on this to look good.
I just did a quick search, and it's sort of considered that this is the greatest anime of all time.
Oh, really?
It's being argued, yeah. In 80s, what is it? Anime became mainstream in Japan, experiencing a boom in production with like Gundam, Macross, Dragon Ball, all of that stuff, like everything in sort of like space opera and cyberpunky sort of stuff, right?
Because like Transformers is an anime. Like,
it
even
is.
the characters look completely more anime than like a American cartoon, and I don't know, G.I. Joe maybe look more because they try to make like American Soldier kind of thing, but like Transformer looks super like anime-ish.
Well, it's what it was born from.
Yeah,
It's exactly what it was born from.
so like technically we did anime on this channel before, but not.
Oh well, that guy, yeah, Batman did it on his show, and like he wants to get upset with us. Like, he can be that way about it. That's fine. I don't even care. Let Batman think what Batman wants to think. But but as far as like great animes and everything,
see, even Dwayne
Dwayne agrees.
Yeah,
he understands. Dwayne knows. The big thing is, like, this is cornerstone. This is a thing that popped it, and it's basically based on the international success of the cartoon, of the movie, of the film as it went, and that has only grown. Now, the kicker here is there's a movie that came a year after this. Are you familiar with a movie called Tetsuo the Iron Man?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I'll try to do a quick Google while you're talking, and so I can see
it is.
Look.
When I first watched this, and we got to the stadium, and his arm has been zapped off, and he has manifested a new arm from the parts around him, and it is made of metal. And then he goes and he sits in that chair, and all of a sudden, like, the wires and the veins start like morphing into the chair and all that, right? I instantly, in my head, I'm like, fuck, is this a reference to Tetsuo the Iron Man? Or is Tetsuo the Iron Man like a reference to Akira? Do the two overlap? And there's not really like a level of overlap other than the name of the character and the fact that there are situations where they're both are metal based.
Is this a penis? Google searching here, and there's always like a metal coming out of the crotch here. So I'm like, what is this?
Yes, it is actually.
Is it
yeah.
drill
So
penis?
It's there's a whole bit in there where like there's a stripper with like he falls in love with a woman. He's a metal fetishist, and there's a like it's a very like sex filled like.
So in a way, he's copying Toxic Avenger.
Yes, and Seven copied this. Tetsuo the Iron Man copied not only the movie Akira, the Toxic Avenger, but then ultimately it inspired Seven, where Lust, bangs out the thing with the drill bit penis or the knife penis. I think that's all like related, low key.
So none of those things would happen without Lloyd.
Yes, it all of that comes back to Lloyd Kaufman in 1984 when they made the Toxic Avenger. It's like all good things in life come back to Lloyd Kaufman.
Also, when are we gonna finally fucking have a trailer? Because I keep seeing like new image, like a picture, Peter Dinklage, Toxic Avenger. I want to see a trailer. Like, how long are they milking how long it takes to finish this movie?
Oh my God. So there are two people that can answer that. Three. Macon Blair could answer that for us. Lloyd could answer that for us. And then I guess Batman could answer that for us because apparently he saw a test screening of it like 2 years ago and then it won't say anything because he signed an NDA and he thinks that matters. Like, he won't even tell his friends. Actually, that's what sparked this. Just in case, like, Dwayne, anybody else watching, listening to this at any point in time, honestly, it boils down to, James signed an NDA, won't tell us anything about the Toxic Avenger. And so Leo and I are butthurt, and we've started our own podcast.
It's true. That's how it started.
But
we don't even like Akira. We just picked this to make him angry.
And it seems to have worked. Wow, to interrupt a show like that, how rude! How completely rude! I just can't even imagine. Like, it's the least professional thing I've ever seen somebody do. He's supposed to be working. So
imagine if his boss watched this and be like, God. "Oh, is that why he said I need to go to the bathroom?" He start like a whole podcast.
That's funny. That's what we should do. I can send it over to that director. We can get him in trouble. That's fine. There's no problems. There's no problems. Papa Bergio runs a board. He can isolate a clip. We'll send it right now. It'll be perfect.
Cool.
But no, man. Apart from that, so we're in the stadium. He starts to merge with the chair, but then his arm starts to flesh out and balloon and morph even more, and he becomes this big, giant, blobby thing of veins and cells, and
then a baby,
and a baby, and a baby. Oh my God! Like, the imagery in this is bananas. It's so bananas. And then from there, from the baby, like he starts to absorb everything. His friends,
kill his girlfriend. Like, he smash her. Not in the way that you're thinking right now.
Like, yeah, he completely smashed her. Yeah. But that, and again, there, like, for me, and maybe it's because I read it and I got hung up on it, but it keeps coming back to the idea of power. And once you get it, how quickly you lose control of it, right? Because he wouldn't want to kill his girlfriend. He wouldn't want.
That's the difference when you don't have a Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
If you only had an Uncle Ben,
he would have been fine, right? He would have known that great power comes with great responsibility. Yeah. He would have known it. But like, as he gets bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point to where he becomes that singularity, and you see this new universe, this new dimension opening up and absorbing everything. And then you see, I guess, sort of the beauty in the past in his relationship with Canada, because there was a point where it was very even, right? Like it did feel even keel. Because doesn't he kind of save Canada's ass at the beginning, right? Like he
No.
introduces.
Was the opposite. Like he just got dropped at the
Oh yeah, because his parents did.
Yeah, the house there, and then the kids bullied him and took his toy, and then Canada took the toy back and came like bleeding, almost like
Bleeding.
crying, but like here, the toy, and then how they formed the friendship, how Canada saved his ass for the first time.
That's where the dynamic.
Yeah, the problem is like instead of just being grateful, he just kept growing more resentful that like if it's Canada's fault that he can defend his own ass, basically.
Right, because he never learned to fight for himself.
Yeah.
Wow. And then he becomes the thing that destroys the world.
So that part that the baby is growing more and more to the singularity, the explosion that happened in New Tokyo, it actually happened, or the destruction is from the singularity before it disappeared to a different dimension? Because if it really explode that before being singularity that creates a big bang, it would destroy like at least the solar system. At least
the solar system. So here's where, again, it's all wide open for interpretation, right? Because you're left in New Tokyo at the end of the film as a pile of rubble. It is once again leveled.
Yeah.
So in my head, it still exists. So yes, that explosion actually happened, leveled the city, but that point of light in that explosion opened up the opposite sort of end, right? And that whole new beginning, right?
I guess we should have brought like our other friend of the show, Neil deGrasse Tyson, here. So we can talk about the singularity.
See, and that's the thing. Nobody really knows. And again, you're left in this total space of like personal interpretation, which I do find a big charm in. I think it is very, very charming. And I love it in a lot of stuff I watch. I hate it in other things that I watch. Sometimes I just want people to tell me things, right?
Yeah. Because like if you just don't tell too, it's probably like what happened a lot. Like a lot of people have good ideas, they don't know how to wrap the idea. That's like 90% of SNL sketches. They never know how to finish. So just leave like good stuff to interpretation. It's just like you couldn't think anything about it to put there.
It's like the ending of The Sopranos.
I never watched Sopranos. I need to catch up with that.
Oh. Well, it's just like the ending to that. You don't really know what happens at the end of the show. And you as the viewer get to write your own ending. And that's the dumbest fucking thing in the world to me. You know? The only thing that's dumber than that, I'll tell you what I think. The only thing that's dumber than that is to fall into the trope of it was all a dream.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. Because also this, I was like, are we going to? Because he kept hallucinating the whole movie. I'm like, is this just gonna be a dream too?
Right. Is he gonna wake up in an alley hooked on drugs and just be like, whoa, that was heavy?
That's a good capsule.
No. Yeah. At least they fucking give you like you know something has happened. You know he has become this god, this deity, this thing. And whether it's of his own universe, in his own space, who knows? But it's super heavy. And like I love the soundtrack to it too. Like in the beginning, all that, like it almost sounds like bamboo, like banging bamboo on stuff. You know what I mean? It's not like tinny, but it's very woody and it's very hollow sounding throughout. Like I love that. And there's more of it at the end during the final credits. So I don't know. We are coming down sort of near the end. There is a thing, Leo, that I did get another email. It is from yet another member of the corridor of cartoonies. It's a guy named Reeves Elliott.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, famous director of The Secret of Tuck Island.
I've seen like his movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, gonna be Academy Awards next year. Whatever.
Personal friend of ours. He says, "Konnichiwa, Leo-san and Ben-sama." He says, "Uwu," which is the UWU. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like when you look at that on something, it's like capital U, and then they make a W, and then another U. It's supposed to be like a cutesy face.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I'm really bad with those typing emoji.
Yeah. So it's Uwu, marry, murder by psychic powers developed by secret government testing. Which would you rather do? Uwu, marry, or murder? Again, it's like a cutesy thing. I think he means to fuck. And he did show up in the chat. Look at that right now. We have him in the chat. But he says, sexy bad boy Kaneda, troubled Tetsuo, or mustache father Ryusaku. There you go. And then he says, domo arigato, kawaii, otaku tuni, Reeves kun. So there you go.
Wait, what are my options again? Like, what do I do with them?
Yeah, it's uwu, marry, murder by psychic powers developed by secret government testing.
And is Canada, Tatsu, and who was the third one?
Ryusaku.
Was that the army guy?
No, that's that was the other guy that the chick liked.
The chick liked?
Yeah, that the lady liked. Remember, he Canada asked her at one point, "Who is this Ryu guy he's talking about?"
Oh, the leader of the rebel thing.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I guess I murdered Tetsu and married the leader guy. Forgot his name and and fuck Canada.
Right.
South Park put this in my mind. Fuck Canada.
You know what? Like that's a. I would actually. Oh God, it's hard. I do like Canada's swagger. I would murder Ryu. He's gone. I would murder him. I would probably marry Canada, and then I would fuck Tetsuo, because there's nothing like putting your dick in crazy, right? There's nothing like it. So I think that's what I'm going with there. I think that's.
I don't know. He's gonna absorb you in this fuck. I don't know. Gonna smash you.
You know what though? Like sometimes that's all I want to do is just be crushed by something. You know what I mean? Like that. Actually, that feels like an okay way to go sometimes. Just like a slow pressure all around you until you can't feel anything anymore, and then you just become energy. I'd be down with it. I think I'd be down with it.
Answering Reeves here on the chat. We love you too, Reeves. You're part of our what's the name again?
It's the corridor of cartoons. The corridor of cartoons. Yes, yeah. Exactly. So that's where you belong, sir.
Especially since he got here, he doesn't know that he got kicked out of Hall of Toonies. Me and you, Reeves, we got banned from the Hall of Toonies.
Yeah.
So,
which
yeah. welcome to our show. We don't discriminate.
Yes,
here.
we watch anything and everything. We'll keep watching your favorites because you know why? This is completely cartoony, and it's a brand new show.
And it's complete.
It is complete. You know, before things were left out on that other show that some people listen to. I don't know, but
I heard it wasn't that total.
It's not totally anything because you know why?
Yeah.
There are things being left out of it. How can you be total if you have left things out? It's ridiculous. I wasn't even going to say its name, but you know what? Like that's a point of fact. How can it be total if it's incomplete and if it omits things? It can't be. It never can. It's a lie that we've been telling. And I'm sorry.
You know who else doesn't like Japanese things? The white supremacists.
See, there you go. Right? Like here, we appreciate everyone and everything. Right? That's how we get down. Fuck them.
So Ben, how you rate this Akira?
You know what? Here we actually do things a little bit differently, Leo, as I'm sure you're aware. We don't have any fancy sound bites. Really, at the end of the day, we just give a nice little succinct sort of nod to if we would or wouldn't recommend it. A much simpler sort of format for us, right? And at the end of the day, if you're looking for something that tells a story that makes sense, a story that is very easy to follow, this might not be a thing for you because it gets deep, it gets heavy. But if you're looking for something that's going to make you think, if you're looking for something that is going to be
weird,
yes, visually amazing, if you're going to be involved in any of that, if you're going to be any of that, then this is a thing that I think people should watch. I actually think most people should watch it. It's
so would you say that you totally recommend this?
I would say I would suggest people to watch it. Absolutely. I would definitely suggest people to watch it for sure. What about you, Leo? How you feeling about it?
Oh, I agree with everything you said. Like, if you just want something on the background that you're not gonna pay attention, you're definitely not gonna. Like, I even trying to eat watching like dub, I had to go back all the time to be like, wait, I just missed something. But yeah, I feel like if you just want a background, wait until you don't want something as a background because you need to pay attention. And if you want something that I don't know, it's something that you're gonna think and talk to your friends about, like the theories, what you think it is. That's like a good conversation piece.
Yeah,
it's a classic.
It is, and it's yeah, you can definitely sit around, get stoned, and watch it, and like then talk for like 3 hours about it afterwards. Like, what did we see?
I can imagine like if someone's high watching this, like
you're gone. You've missed it. You've missed it entirely.
You're gonna be like Tetsuo with his dreams. Probably.
I could only assume this on a head full would be too much. I have approached this with a great sense of sobriety because I'd never seen it, and I wanted to,
mm-hmm.
and I knew that it was gonna be a thing. You know what I mean? So I approached it like clear-headed, clean-minded, and was still like, what? But it's beautiful film.
The movie may make you high, even when
it does. It's a beautiful film, though. It is from start to finish, and it is 2 hours, but weirdly, it doesn't feel it. Like, it really didn't to me. It moves along at a steady enough clip, and there's always something interesting to look at. So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Awesome.
Go team. Now, Leo, on the other show, sometimes people are pushed into asking a question about next time. I don't like to do that.
I was going to ask you, but I don't know. Like, sometimes the surprises good, right?
You know what? Who knows on the next episode of Completely Cartoony what it'll be, when it'll be. But for us, here and now, this is a beautiful spot for us to be in, and
maybe this is like a once a year episode, and whoever's lucky enough to catch this,
you're welcome. Yeah, fucking A, you're welcome. But Leo, again, buddy, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. It's
been awesome. Who knows what next week is going to be, babies? But right now, I'm going to let you know where you can find us. You can find me at yarn_yeti, at shit.house.productions. You'll also find me getting kicked out of the fantasy shed later on this evening. It's like, or taken behind it like they used to do with the woodsheds, and I'll get the piss beaten out of me behind the fantasy shed later. But that's where you can find us. That's where you can find everything from the Fantasy Shed Network, including Completely Cartoony and a bunch of other podcasts. Leo, where can folks look for you if they need to?
Oh, you can find me on the corridor of Cartoony.
Yes.
I'm gonna be there because I was kicked out of the Hall of Toonies, and the corridor doesn't discriminate, so I feel like I'm always gonna be there then. And you can find me at Trauma Dance watching Where Deer and a bunch of other nice trauma movies.
Yes, fans.
I'm forgetting words now, but yeah, like amazing work of independent cinema.
Fan submitted, created from around the world. I know at least one film's coming from overseas, from England. We've got them coming in from other places. I think some of the animation that we watched for this was from where you're from down Brazil. I know I saw a couple that were.
Oh.
But anyway.
Interesting.
It's all over the place. This has been Completely Cartoony, the new flagship franchise of the Fantasy Shed. Papa John, if you would please, sir, I think it's time to cut the feed, man.
This is Big Dan, owner and founder of Big Dan's Original Bethpage Barbecue Sauce and Seasonings, and I'm proud to present the first episode of Completely Cartoony, the only cartoon podcast you need to listen to. And that's what I call a Big Dan deal.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
and Leo.
Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's a brand new show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with your favorite host. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony. It's your favorite show. Completely cartoony, completely cartoony, completely cartoony with Ben
And Leo.
Completely cartoony.